Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Berean. And for the first time this year, I went to the movie theaters. I know. I don't get a lot of opportunities to go to the theater, and most of the time now, with the cost of everything, it's got to be really justified to make me want to go see a movie at the theater now. And the only thing that remotely piqued my interest this year was Dune Part 2, and just because life got in the way, I never got time or chance to catch it in theaters. But today I actually went to the theater to go see The Secret World of Arrietty. Now, this was a birthday wish for my daughter, and the only other thing I'd want to do this year in the theater was go see released the extended editions of Lord of the Rings that is actually this weekend. But, of course, my daughter always comes first. So she said she wanted to see this in the theater and experience it in the theater. I said, absolutely 100%, no questions. And we did. And it was fabulous. I've seen this on the TV, watched it on Blu ray multiple times. It's a great movie. It's based on a book called The Borrowers. And if you're thinking, oh, yeah, didn't they make a movie? Yeah, they made a movie back in '97 with John Goodman about the borrowers, based on the books as well. And if you're Gen X like me, you're like, oh, what didn't they do some? I feel like I've seen this. You're thinking of the Littles. Yes, you're thinking of the Littles. Great show. Watched it all the time. It was always on like whatever channel was Saturday morning cartoon, somewhere around like Heathcliff and stuff like that. Gen Xers remember this. The Littles. It's basically a different version of the Borrowers based on another children's book series, but they're more kind of like field mouse hybrids instead of being miniature humans. So we went this evening to go see The Secret World of Arrietty, and I took my son along with us. And he's not like a huge anime fan, and but even he really enjoyed this. It's a beautiful story about this tiny little family that lives under the floorboard that just borrow the things they need, like sugar, Kleenex, things like that. They take like a sheet of Kleenex, a cube of sugar, and they're tiny, so they don't need much in relation to their size. So it's a really sweet movie, and it's a very touching story about how they have to try to stay safe. And the friend that the human friend she befriends, Sean, is having medical trouble, so a heart condition of some sort. And it's a very touching story, and they've got a lot of things dealing with nature, and it's a beautifully done story, and it looked amazing on the big screen. I've seen it half a dozen times at home, but being on the big screen, and since they're doing G Kids is releasing all of these periodically throughout the year. Some of these they did some last year, and we didn't get a chance to catch many of them because they were on odd weekends when we're always traveling. This happened to be a perfect weekend, and we caught it. And this is just a movie that I just want to reflect on and put back out there that if you haven't watched it and you do happen to see this video, you got one more chance this week to catch it out on June 11th. But it's a beautiful, sweet story, and it's it's this young borrower overcoming nature and the struggle to stay in secret, the struggle to stay alive in a world against nature and humans, and it's just well done. And it's so beautiful that like even at the end of the movie, the sequence, the animation keeps going while the credits going. You see kind of how the ending plays out, alludes to what goes on, and everyone in the theater just sat there because we're just watching the animation. There's no talk, and there's some small credits going through, but we're all just sitting there in a packed theater. This was a packed theater for this movie of just watching Studio Ghibli's animation. Just it was just gorgeous. And it's like, oh, we see the fish swimming around the teapot, and we're like, this is beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And I feel like so many people kind of overlook Studio Ghibli movies, like, oh, that's for kids. And I'm like, it's not. The way they do their stuff, it appeals to everybody. It's a good, heartwarming story. It's 100% family friendly. Anybody of any age is going to love it because it's just a good story. Like, oh, well, she's got to learn these things. She's got to overcome these things. And this is all this just, it's what good storytelling is. And that's what Studio Ghibli is known for, aside from their gorgeous animation, is their good storytelling. And I absolutely love this movie. And I love the fact that I was able to go tonight with my kids and experience it on the big screen. Now, I'll put the link in the description below for the G Kids event so you can find more of these movies that are being released throughout the year of the theaters. I think there's one or two a month, and sometimes they're on the same weekends. You have to pick which day. But treat yourself to a Studio Ghibli movie if you have not seen it on the big screen. The only one I've seen on the big screen, aside from this one, was Spirited Away when it hit theaters here in America. And that was my first launch into Studio Ghibli. And I was like, because I was like, it looks kind of, I don't know if it's really artsy or really too kid geared. And, I was kind of I was a lot younger back then, but seeing it just opened my eyes, and I was like, "This is so fascinating and so gorgeous. I love this." And that movie hooked me into everything they did, and I'm a huge fan. I watch a lot of them all the time. I particularly watch Spirited Away and probably Howl's Moving Castle the most, but I love them both. I love all their movies. I haven't seen them all. I'm not gonna lie, but everything I've seen so far proves that the ones I haven't seen are probably still amazing, and I just need to get to them, and I will. But I just wanted to bring this up because sometimes we just need to reflect on something that's nice, it's good, it's sweet, and it's just a good time to feel optimistic about things. So that was this was a perfect movie to get that feeling. Yeah, times are getting rough, but things can always get better. So I just want to give my opinion about a movie everyone should have seen by now, and if not, do yourself an absolute favor and go see it. If you have not, or you can't get to a theater that's promoting it, or at during this time, I do believe all of them are still on the Max streaming service. I could be wrong. I haven't checked in a while, but they should be all on the Max streaming service. So go check it out. Studio Ghibli movies are worth your time. And which ones? All of them. All of them are beautiful stories. Some are based on other books. You got Tales of Earthsea, and I'm not sure which other ones are based on other works. But then you have complete originals like Spirit Away that is based on Japanese mythology and things like that, and it's just gorgeous because you get this insight that we don't get into the West, and it's just wonderful. And if you wonder why anime is making such a huge comeback here in the West, and not a comeback but a huge explosion, it's stuff that Studio Ghibli makes, and it's stuff like this that is just beautiful and wonderful and so friendly for every audience. And their only goal is to be a spectacle event for your eyes and a story that you will fall in love with. Those are all the things you need to make a good movie. And I would argue you just have to have a good story you can fall in love with, and you will absolutely bring people rushing to the theaters to see this. I mean, I'm not in a huge metropolitan area, but even we had a full theater for this movie tonight because it's so good. So do yourself a favor and watch a Studio Ghibli movie this week. It's going to put a smile on your face and just put a little optimism in your heart. Until next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.